So we're therapists, but we're also just two friends who overanalyze literally everything.
Think of us like your group chat, but with a psychology degree. Welcome to License to Yet podcast.
Welcome back to License to Yap. Today's episode is a little different. We're diving into the chaotic, messy, and honestly sometimes therapeutic world of Reddit's Am I the Asshole stories.
For those of you who don't know, Am I the Asshole is a subreddit where people share their conflicts and ask the internet to judge them. Are they the asshole or are they not? And today we're putting our therapist hats on, but also our popcorn hats, because some of these stories are wild.
An important disclaimer here, we're not diagnosing anyone. We're not going to be giving actual therapeutic advice. This isn't therapy. We're just here to reflect, react, and maybe pull out some lessons that we see as therapists.
As we usually do. So, why are these stories so addictive? Well, they're basically free case studies in family drama, boundary issues, and communication breakdowns, which is something that I think we can all relate to, which is why I really do believe it makes it so addictive to look at these stories from the outside and realize, oh, we're not the only ones that maybe have gone through something like that or have had experiences similar to that.
Exactly. And they highlight the messy gray areas of being human. And sometimes we see the same patterns in our own therapy sessions. So, for fun, we came up with our very own Am I the Asshole diagnostic criteria, something that maybe we'd see in the DSM if this was the
Right.
case. So, we've got a couple here. First one is going to be boundary blunders. So, where did our boundaries break down? Do we need them? Do we have too much of them? The next one is going to be communication breakdowns. Where can we, amp up our communication? Accountability avoidance. This is something that we talked about in the last episode.
This is my favorite.
Empathy check or lack thereof, which I think sometimes leans a little bit more into that asshole-ish type of vibe. And my favorite is the overreaction scale. So from calmly saying, hey, can we talk, to packing your bags and moving out over dirty dishes in the sink.
Honestly, that skill alone could solve 90% of these, but we have a little rating scale that we can also use to judge each post. Essentially, our Am I the Asshole rating scale will look like something like this. We have NTA, which is not the asshole. We have YTA, which stands for You're the Asshole. ESH, which is going to be Everyone Sucks Here. And NAH, which is No Assholes Here, just human beings being a little messy.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in then.
Our first story is essentially someone pretending to get fired. Title for this one is Am I the Asshole for Pretending to Get Fired When Customers Get a Temper with Me? I am a high schooler with a weekend job at a coffee shop. My coworkers who work weekends are James, which is the owner's son. He goes to this person's school. He's a shift manager, but is not a real formal thing. He is a friendly guy. Danielle, a college student who sometimes works weekends too. So sometimes customers will come in and just be angry about such little stuff, like literally blow up about nothing. I don't know if they're in a bad mood already and looking for someone to take it out on or what, but it is a lot. Like, how sad do you have to be a grown-ass man taking your anger out on a high schooler and college kids? So James and I were joking about having a little fun with them and hopefully getting them off our backs. So one day I was at work and some guy was having a temper about how we don't know how to make the coffee hot enough, which I couldn't do a thing about because I give it to him right out of the machine. So James came in and was like, sir, is there a problem here? And the guy started ranting to him too. So he was like, this is unacceptable. You're fired. I started acting real sad, like, no, please don't fire me. My family needs the money. I need this job. And he played up being a hard ass, telling me to take off my apron and leave. The anger guy started to backtrack, like, it's not that big of a problem. You don't need to fire her over it. I didn't mean it. And James is like, no, we pride ourselves on the best customer service. Of course, after all that drama, I still had my job. We were just acting. And we've done it a couple of times whenever a customer will lose their temper at Danielle or I. James will storm in and fire us, and almost every time the person who had came in angry will apologize and say that they didn't mean it. It's kind of satisfying making people realize their actions might actually have consequences. Anyway, I was telling my friends from school about this, and a few of them thought it was a mean prank to let someone go away thinking they'd gotten someone who desperately needed the money fired. Am I the asshole for this joke?
I think not.
Honestly, no. I think this is actually such a smart way
Yeah.
of teaching somebody just how detrimental their actions can be.
Yeah, I think we live in a society where there's a lot of, what's the word I want to use here?
Entitled?
Yeah, a lot of entitlement where we really don't think that our actions have consequences and people in the service industry get looked down upon.
So much.
I don't know if you've ever worked in the service
Yeah.
industry, but it's such a unique
People can
experience.
be so cruel.
Yeah, yeah. I think it really shows you just how much of an asshole people could really
Yeah.
be. Personally, I don't think this person is an asshole. I think the people who will lose their minds over coffee not being a certain temperature, you're entitled.
Yeah.
That person can't help it. You're watching, like she said, I literally give it to him right after it comes out of the machine.
Right.
There's nothing they can do.
I can see the perspective of another person saying, "Oh, this could be really mean," because now you have the other person who was acting this way, feeling a type of way. But I think it goes to say, like, going back to that accountability, that rating scale that we have for the accountability, like, how accountable are you being when you're coming in?
Mm.
And because most of the time, yes, when you're angry about something, you already might be projecting that on whoever comes your way. So the way I look at this is if you're coming in and you're projecting on just other people who are just trying to do their job and they're essentially serving you, right? They're doing something for you. What gives you the right to yell at somebody or to, I mean, if they've gotten it wrong, okay, there's a way to go about it. Hey, excuse me, can you remake this, or this is missing, or can you maybe put this, you make this little header or something? There's a way to go about it. If you're gonna act entitled, as you said, and scream at somebody or make somebody feel down about themselves because your coffee's not hot enough,
Hmm.
like how accountable are you being?
Not at all.
No, you're not. You're not being empathetic either.
No, there's no empathy there.
No, you're just being an asshole.
Yep.
You're just being an asshole over something so small. So I would definitely have to say that no, this is honestly something I'd probably do.
Yeah, and I would wonder if the person that like questioned why they're doing this or saying like, "Hey, that was kind of mean of you to do," I would probably argue that they've never worked in the service
Right.
industry before.
Right. Like I've gotten plate thrown at me. I've gotten food thrown at me. I've been yelled at over toast not being toast enough. Just horrible things. So I think maybe that's the case. You know, we're two people who worked in that industry and can understand like how terrible it is on the other end of like, how could you tell me I'm a horrible human being because your toast wasn't toast enough?
Well, it's kind of like I'm going to give you a little taste of your own medicine.
Yeah.
You want to scream at me, you want to say I'm not doing my job right. Okay, I'm going to be held accountable. Sure, I'm acting. We're all acting. I'm going to be held accountable for not doing my job right. Now you can see what the consequences of your actions have. If you're screaming at me, my
Right.
manager is thinking I'm not doing my job correctly. Therefore, I'm being reprimanded.
The way I look at this is almost like it's like a hard truth or a hard lesson to teach somebody because it puts them in a spot where they realize, holy shit, yeah, my consequences just made this individual get fired.
Hmm.
There are real situations where that does happen,
Yeah.
where a client or a customer comes in and throws a fit and people do get fired.
Mhm.
And it isn't a joke, right? Because those, I think it's a hard lesson. I think this person definitely is not the asshole. I think this is a lesson that a lot of people need to be taught so that they can see that yes, my actions do have direct consequences and they can really hurt people,
Yeah.
families, right?
And have a little empathy. If I mean, come on, your coffee isn't hot enough, so I'm gonna just completely lose my mind over this high school student.
Right,
She's
right.
not a barista, she probably was trained very minimally. She's not in the industry for several years. She's
Exactly.
not like
Like,
in a
that's a
coffee
break.
connoisseur.
Like truly, I don't think at all that this guy is the asshole. No, I think this was a really clever way of
Yeah.
teaching a hard lesson, a hard truth to learn. So,
Okay. Well, it sounds like we're on the same
yeah,
page of NTA, not the asshole.
right. Not the asshole by far.
Okay. All right. Well, let's jump into our second. Am I the asshole for sleeping naked on top of the covers to teach my flatmate's girlfriend a lesson? Okay, so obviously they're from the UK.
That already sounds great.
Okay, so he says, new to Reddit, please bear with me. So I, 21 guy, live with my childhood best friend, 22, also a guy, and have done for 2 years now. Up until last week, things were perfect between us. However, recently he got a new girlfriend, 23 lady. I love how he called her lady. And she honestly seems absolutely great, except for one thing. She seemingly has a complete aversion to knocking. She and I have quite a lot in common, and I actually like spending time with her. However, it bugs the hell out of me when she just barges into my room without knocking first. Now, she's never walked in on me doing anything untoward. I'm usually just chilling on my bed or studying at my desk. However, on at least 7 separate occasions, she's done it first thing in the morning to ask if I want coffee. I sleep naked. Here we go. Every time prior to this last one, I've been under the covers and she hasn't seen anything. I always point out that she could have, and she just giggles and says, but I didn't. When she stayed over last week, in order to make my point, I intentionally slept on top of the covers. Sure enough, she barges in at 7 a.m., begins to ask if I want coffee, and sees my you know what. She immediately backed out of the room and didn't speak to me for the rest of the day. My mate later pulled me aside and said I was bang out of order, accused me of deliberately exposing myself, and pointed out that I've threatened to do it before. In parentheses, I literally just said, okay, but what if I had no covers and you saw everything before? They're now framing this to others that I'm some sick creep who intentionally got naked and lay in wait of her because that's how I get my rocks off. And I'm kind of seeing how it came off that way. Am I the asshole for doing this?
No. I'm sorry. I was holding back so much. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Uh, I mean, okay, this is a huge boundary blunder for me. How are you walking into
Right.
your boyfriend's roommate's room without knocking?
Right. If anything, I feel like that part where this client, oh my God, where this person, sorry, this therapist hat never goes off, where this person said, like, I told her multiple times that I sleep naked. And you would think that would be enough for some people to be like, okay, no, I get it. I should be knocking. And she just giggled. Like, that to
Yeah.
me was a huge red flag. Like, you were trying to see something, ma'am.
Yeah.
You were trying to. You were pushing the limits for a reason.
Yeah, and I could kind of see like knowing that he does sleep
Yeah.
naked and you're constantly still walking
Barging in.
in the morning too to ask if he wants coffee. Ma'am, you can wait for him to get up, get dressed, and like meet you guys in the living
And
room.
not even just that. I think about how, like, you can literally just knock on their door, wait for them to, like, say
Mhm.
yeah. And then you can be like, hey, I made coffee. Do you want some?
Literally through the door.
Right. You don't need to open the door. I don't know. She was giving me some red flags. I feel personally that you were trying to see him naked. You were trying to push that boundary
Hmm.
because you giggling and being like, but I haven't.
Yeah, you were trying to see something.
I'm like, no. From the moment she said that, I'm like, oh, you're not.
Yeah, I mean, I think this guy did a great job of like
Yeah.
communicating, right? Like,
Right.
hey, I sleep naked. Please knock.
Yeah.
And then one of our little criteria was accountability avoidance. I think that avoidance is completely on the girlfriend.
Definitely the girlfriend and the flatmate.
Yeah, the
So I'm
flatmate
like,
too.
why are you essentially
Are you co-signing her behavior?
right, like feeding into that, blaming him, saying, and then being like cruel about it too.
Hmm.
I just,
Can we also flip this gender-wise? If this was
right.
a girl and a
I
guy
didn't
was
even think of
barging in when she was sleeping naked or even just getting dressed or whatever,
right.
that would be, I mean, totally different. We wouldn't even be asking
No, we
if
would
they
definitely
were
be
the
like,
asshole.
no, you're the asshole. You're
Yeah.
being a fucking creep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
didn't
think,
even think about that, but definitely. I think case would be closed for that one,
yeah, case
right? Like
closed. Not the
everybody would be like,
asshole.
no, you were setting your boundary. You were letting them know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we shouldn't be essentially two-faced because it's a man.
Hmm.
Like, oh, that honestly, I'm gonna be honest, that guy pissed me. Like his flatmate pissed me off, saying like you were trying to get her to see your
Yeah.
dick.
That's
Right? It
weird.
doesn't
That's
make
weird.
sense. Like if we really dissect it like that, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I think
NTA again? Not the
the
asshole.
asshole. No, not the asshole.
Okay. All right. Let's jump into our next one then.
Okay. Am I the asshole for saying I'll be driving myself and paying for my own room for the upcoming family vacation so I won't have to be a babysitter? Ooh, this one sounds juicy.
Hmm. Male.
I, 23 male, was repeatedly stuck playing the part of helper and babysitter on family outing. I had to move out of my parents' house because I kept being forced to help watch my three nephews. Last year, we took a family vacation in summer on the coast. I rode along with my parents and they paid for my hotel room. Only I had to share that room with three rowdy boys because my sister and her husband wanted a room to themselves.
Oh no.
I was promised this time to do my own things on the vacation, but instead I ended up having to help these kids. I complained to everyone about it and was reminded I was there for free. And then we pretty much just did only one thing I wanted to do, which was a tour of an art gallery. I like doing this whenever I'm at the coast, but the kids find it boring. This year, my parents had a beach trip planned for June, and they assumed I'd be riding along the same way as last year. But I refused. I said I'm driving myself and paying for my own hotel stay to have my own room. My parents were shocked, and I tried to remind me of the cost. I said it was no worry. I've got a good job and I had a decent running car. I can more than afford it. That's when the but started. I stated the previously listed things as well. I'll be driving myself and paying for myself. I want to be able to enjoy this vacation as an adult and not be treated like a child like last year. My parents told my sister, and she called to blow up at me, and that I'll be ruining the vacation if I'm off doing my own things while she has to wrangle her 3 boys. I ended up yelling at her that last year all she did was broke me into her mess. I didn't really get to do much of anything I wanted to do, and I was treated like the bad guy for wanting to just go to an art gallery. I'm a grown man. I deserve my own vacation too. Now my sister is not speaking to me, and my parents are still trying to convince me to just ride with them to keep the peace. I'm still refusing. But the pressure is getting to me. Am I the asshole for not giving in? I know they'll have a pretty hard time when they won't have another person there to help.
What are you thinking?
I'm really big on boundaries, honestly. It
Yeah.
has taken me a long time to get here, but I'm really big on that. And what I'm hearing is that there has been a pattern
Yeah.
of a lack of accountability from the mother
Hmm.
of these kids, of her just not wanting to take responsibility for them
Yep.
and placing it on her brother.
Uncle is not the
Right,
parent of these children. That's
right.
your job.
Exactly. And the reason for that is because, I mean, I understand, I truly do, that parents want to have time for themselves and want to have their own room and whatnot. But in this case, I don't see why your brother would have to get essentially stuck with the
Hmm.
kids in the room. And I hate to use that word because, it's just the best word that came to my head at this time. But why does he have to be with the kids in the room?
Yeah, I would feel like it's one thing if they were to take a trip on their own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy your time,
Hmm.
couple
It's
time,
basically
go,
for you two.
yeah, go by yourself. This is a family vacation,
Right.
which, let's be honest, you're not getting a whole lot of alone time as a
No.
parent during a family
It's
vacation.
already a family. Your parents are
Yeah,
there. Like what? You know what
exactly.
I mean? And then I don't like the part where the but started. Where it's like all of a sudden now they're trying to, again, like that accountability avoidance of like they're trying to make you feel bad for
Mhm.
wanting to set your own boundary. I mean, he still said he's going to pay for himself. He's
Yep.
going to drive himself. It's not like he's causing anybody more stress. He just wants that time to be
Yeah.
able to enjoy it,
And
which I
he's
don't think
allowed
is
that.
wrong.
Yeah. If the sister is allowed that away from her children, why shouldn't he be allowed that? He doesn't have children.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he have to turn his own family vacation into a babysitting gig?
Right. Like, I'm rereading this part. My parents told my sister, and she called to blow up at me that I'll be ruining the vacation if I'm off doing my own things listen to that, while she has to wrangle her 3 boys. Like, what?
Why did you have 3 kids then if you don't want
Right.
to?
Why did you, right. And again, this isn't anything against children. Children are blessings, but why did you have three
Yeah.
kids if you are not willing to be accountable for them? You know that children are hard work.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a big topic for me, at least, especially when it comes to like, especially siblings.
Yeah.
Right. There's this idea the oldest is like the built-in person to take care of everything. And it sounds like she's almost trying to pass
Yeah.
her children onto him to kind of get rid of that responsibility. That wasn't his decision to lie down and have children with your
Mhm.
partner. That was your decision. Yeah, if you're going on a family trip, guess what? You gotta take care of your kids. There's
Yeah.
no way out of that unless you set up some sort. I mean, they've got what are they called? Like vacation nannies.
Yeah, definitely.
They've got like little daycares at vacation. If you're like at a resort, they've got those.
Mhm.
There are other
Avenues.
yeah, that you can kind of make sure that you get a break. And for me, why don't you ask? Ask,
Yeah.
hey, can me and my husband have this date night while we're here on this family vacation? We could really use it.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of just having that expectation, like, okay, we're on a family vacation. Now you're stuck with all my kids so that I can get a break.
Right. Use each other as support because, sure, as an aunt myself, I don't mind taking care of my nieces. I love taking care of my nieces. But the assumption that I should just be taking care of them is a crazy one to me because I
Yeah.
also have my own life. I also have my own things that happen. And I will, I give thanks to my sister because my sister is always very communicative about it. Hey, can you watch the girls? Me and her husband have to do something. Great. Yeah, I'll take care of them. Here, it doesn't seem like there's that communication. Also, where are the grandparents and all that?
Mhm.
Like, we have to use each other as a
Yeah.
support. Why are we just using the brother?
It takes a village.
It,
Why are we not using a village?
right. Because listen, it does. It does take a village. You definitely need all the help you can get. I mean, 3, we don't even know what ages they are, but
Mhm.
3, I mean, it's already quite a bit for just one person. So I think we're also going with the conclusion that
I feel like everyone sucks here kind of applies,
Mhm.
except for
Except for
the
him.
writer.
Except for the writer. Yeah.
The parents are enabling.
Yeah.
The sister is just assuming
Mhm.
that he's gonna pick up all of these responsibilities. I feel
Okay.
like
Okay. Everyone
ESH
said.
kind of fits.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that one is the one. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Comfortable with that.
Right. Let's move on to our next one. Okay, so this one is called Am I the Asshole for How I Fought My Boyfriend's Medical Bill Going Too Far? Okay. My boyfriend had to go to the ER after an accident, and he got a truly ridiculously high bill back. I offered to fight the bill for him because I've done it before, and he said sure. I went all out, but honestly, if we were out 5 grand after insurance, that would fuck up our holiday plans pretty bad. So and here's a laundry list of things she did. 1, had him call the hospital and authorize me to handle his bill and access his medical records. 2, got an itemized bill and compared the prices for each code to the fair prices. Damn. Okay. 3, called billing to dispute the bill, but was told that billing only collects bills, so I'd contact admin to dispute. 4, bounced around a call center for hours trying to get someone who was actually qualified for bill disputes and getting nowhere. Google and LinkedIn searched for the hospital board of directors and upper management. Got 30 emails of the most influential people at the hospital, plus the hospital's investors. Every day would send a few emails, working my way up the chain and writing an increasingly long email describing how they billed my client at 7 times over the fair price for services rendered and how their billing department, customer service department, and the growing list of management I've emailed had failed to address the issue. Escalating. She keeps going. Escalated the emails until I was writing the director level staff with the entire board of directors and a number of outside investors CC'd, asking for a written statement regarding their justification for billing at a rate 7 times higher than the national average for commensurate? I don't know that word.
Mhm.
Services to what is available at other hospitals, and sternly laying out the failures to appropriately respond at every level of the company. Okay. She did a lot. Well, once I've done all of that, which was only honestly like 15 minutes a day, they reduced the bill from $5,000 to $26. Yep, 26 fucking dollars. Well, I told my boyfriend the good news, and he was at first overjoyed and blown away, like literally jumping up and down and hugging me and saying it was a literal Christmas miracle. But then when he asked how I did it, I said it wasn't too hard. I just had to send a couple emails each day. He was curious what I'd said, and I handed him my phone. He started to get stressed and flipping back through other emails, which there were like 60 of. He told me I went too far. He was expecting me to dispute through their billing department or something normal and reasonable like that, not internet stalk every single manager and board member and investor and harass them into dropping the bill. I was frustrated because I just saved us 5 grand, actually made it possible for us to afford a nice Christmas and save some money. And he was mad at me because I'd been a bit of a hard ass. He was also mad at me, saying he authorized me to dispute a bill, not basically threaten and harass a whole damn apartment for weeks. Am I the asshole for how I got my boyfriend's medical bills dropped?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That, my friend, is advocating for
Yeah.
yourself because what the hell do you mean that the bill of $5,000, I'm assuming after insurance,
Yeah, that's gonna be
right,
after insurance.
was dropped to $26?
Mm,
That means that from the very start, that bill could have and probably was $26
yeah.
because we're talking about this individual had insurance.
Mhm.
Why do we have insurance? To pay for these
Yep.
medical bills, right? So, absolutely not. I think that this woman knew that he was being fucked.
Yeah.
Sorry for the foul language, but it's true. And advocated as much as she could, going to who she needed to go to in order to make this bill get dropped to what it probably likely should have been from the very start.
This might be a hot take, but I feel like if more people did this, a lot of us wouldn't be in medical debt.
No, of course.
I have seen so many stories where the hospitals will mark up things so
Mhm.
simple like a freaking bandage,
Bar soap.
bar soap, literally 50, 60, $70. And that's what they're billing to
Right.
insurance.
Because no one is looking at
Mhm.
their bill, right? No one is because we're not taught these things. We're not told. We're just taught to trust
Yep.
these hospitals and organizations and our insurances. We're not taught to look into these things, but it's so important to do that because to your point, right? Why the hell does Band-Aid cost $50?
It doesn't.
No. No, it doesn't.
It's just it's a financial gain for
Right.
them, right? They're gonna mark up all of these little expenses so that the hospital is making money and
Right.
that the insurance is making
Mhm.
money. But you as a patient or the client, you're the one that's getting, excuse my language, your shit out of luck because you're
Yeah.
the one that's funneling this money into them, not only with your premiums that you're paying monthly, but then
Mhm.
your copays, your co-insurance
Right.
and everything. And then you're still not meeting your deductibles. So you still owe
Pay more.
hundreds
Right.
of dollars.
Right. So absolutely not. I honestly, though, I gotta say that I think I understand where this boyfriend was coming from because I could definitely see my dad doing something like this, where he would freak out on me, and in some ways has done before because they're afraid of maybe being reprimanded
Mhm.
by whoever, we had to advocate for. So I think I could see where, sometimes, especially us as therapists, we know that some people like underlying anger is other emotions. Maybe this boyfriend was just afraid, like, what the
Yeah,
hell are these like big ass hospitals gonna do to me? Like, are they gonna come after me?
right.
Because my girlfriend advocated as much for me as she did. So not justifying the fact that he got upset, but maybe there was a deeper explanation. Like maybe he was just afraid.
And I can maybe even understand like a level of shock.
Yeah.
Like she said, he was probably assuming, oh, you went through like a bill dispute department or whatever, and then having to see, she said 60 emails where I mean, she used the word harass, so we're just going to use the word
Yeah.
harass. She was harassing hospital officials. Who else did she
Directors.
say? Investors.
That's
Yeah.
that's smart. I would never have
Yeah.
thought to do the
She put a lot
investors,
of
but
she put a lot of energy.
yeah,
Boyfriend, she loves you very much.
exactly.
This is a whole lot of time and energy into this.
Yes. I gotta commend you, girlfriend, whoever you are. Great job at knowing all of those things, of going to those avenues, of advocating for your boyfriend. I'm sure she does a hell of a job of advocating for herself.
Hmm.
It's good to know that people have the knowledge that they can do these things and that they have the right to ask questions about their bills and why am I being billed for this? Why, ask questions. Really, it's important.
Ask for itemized receipts too.
Mhm, mhm. Please, because I didn't even know you could do that until I started seeing all the TikToks and reels of women
Mhm.
after labor.
Yeah.
Be like, "Come on now, why the hell is a bar soap
Why are you billing
$70?"
me for golden hour?
Right. Oh my god.
Skin
See?
to skin. We're billing for
Skin to
that.
skin, why are you billing for skin to
Hmm.
skin? Exactly. So please, yes, ask for those receipts.
And okay, so where are we going as far as our rating scale here? I'm kind of thinking no for myself. No assholes, just a little messy.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking not to. That's
Okay.
true. No assholes. It is just messy,
Yeah.
like everywhere you look. With the boyfriend, I guess, with the girlfriend.
A lot of energy into
Yeah,
that.
lots of energy going on. So yeah, I'd say not too. And I do
Okay.
agree with that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that being depressed is not an excuse for being lazy?
um,
Um, I think I'm gonna have some thoughts about
right off the
Um,
bat, just based off the
right.
title.
What a title. Okay. I, 29, have always supported my girlfriend, 23. We have been together for 4 years now and lived together for one. She has always had anxiety as well as depression, where some months are worse than others. I have supported her through all of this and understand it is very hard for her. In January, she lost her job due to the current world circumstances. By March, she hit a low point with not eating as much, crying, irritability, typical traits of depression. I have comforted her as much as possible and taken care of everything. However, at the beginning of June, I was allowed back to work, and since then, the house has fallen into shambles. I am too tired by the time I come home to do anything, even cook. Most nights we order takeout, and on the rare occasions, she makes food. The floors aren't being washed. Hoovering?
Is vacuuming? Maybe
Yeah.
they're also from the
Okay.
UK.
Sorry. Vacuuming isn't being done. Laundry is a mountain, and dishes are everywhere. I try to keep on top of it, but with the work, it's almost impossible. She is home all day. She lies in bed till late afternoon, watches Netflix, eats bowls of cereal, and naps. That's about it. I've tried to gently coax her into doing more, and she says she will get to it, but never does. I finally snapped, told her I was sick of her doing nothing all day and leaving the housework to me, that if she is here and I'm working, she needs to be pulling her weight. She got upset and said that she wants to, but she can never find the motivation, that she is tired all the time. I said, I understand she's depressed, but that isn't an excuse to do nothing and be lazy. No one likes housework, but I won't take any more excuses about it. She needs to start doing it or leave. Next day, I come home to a clean house and a note from her saying she was sorry and is going to stay with her mother. Her mom helped her clean before they left. I tried calling, but she wouldn't pick up. When I rang the house, her mother answered and I had a lot to say. She was furious. She's telling me about how she's struggling and I'm making her worse. That I should be supporting her, not ignoring that she's in a bad place. And so on. I was told my girlfriend had been crying all day in her bedroom, and I feel awful. I never wanted to hurt her. I just snapped. I tried to get her mother to give my girlfriend the phone, but she wouldn't speak to me. It feels like a lose-lose situation. On one hand, I know depression results in lack of motivation and cleanliness, and on the other, I can't stand to see her home in such chaos. I've never had depression, so I can't for sure say how bad it truly is. That's why I find it more difficult to 100% empathize. Am I the asshole for telling her depression isn't an excuse? Some extra information is that she has a therapist that talks regularly with them. Her depression is worse since losing her job. Usually, she is quite clean and tidy. We don't usually have this issue. She is looking for a job despite depression. I have enough money to support us both in the meantime. That is loaded.
How do we feel?
I feel like maybe right now I'm leaning towards no.
Yeah. So I'm the type of person where, yes, like we can sit down, lick our wounds for a minute, feel our feelings. Especially with depression, those are going to be maybe a little bit more heightened,
Yeah.
right? But one of the ways that we do get through depression is to have someone that is motivating us to get up and do something,
Yeah.
right? I totally get like we're gonna lay in bed, we're gonna rot, we don't feel like doing anything. It's also just not an excuse to, not maintain your home, not maintain yourself, not maintain your relationship.
Yeah.
So I get it. However, I do feel like this could have been a much more gentle conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. I have tried to get my thoughts together. I think I've been on, I was gonna say I've been on both ends, but no, I don't think I have. I've been on the end where she's in, right? Where if you've ever had depression, it is really, or any kind of mental health condition, the depression in itself is quite the ride, I will say. So I think of course we can understand where you want to just, you don't have motivation. Sometimes you don't even want to get up and brush your teeth or shower or cook for yourself. It is really difficult. And if you haven't ever experienced it, I think from the outside looking in, it does look like just laziness.
Yeah.
But it really is just unexplainable. The experience of like, I just can't get up. But what I'm hearing in the story too is that this partner has tried to be supportive and tried to empathize with, hey, I don't know what it's like, but I'm gonna support you right now. We're gonna do this together. And it just seems like in a way he was just asking. Maybe the communication wasn't there though. It doesn't seem like he really communicated to her like, hey, I'm gonna support us financially right now. I'm gonna go out and work, but can you try and just, make sure that the house looks a certain way or that the bare minimum, I know you can't do much, but just the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And just because it stresses me out to come home to that. I think if that would have been communicated, maybe that would have been a different conversation. But maybe the assumption, I think that's where it was dangerous, that the assumption was made, hey, I'm out and you're here.
You
so
take care of it.
you take care of this. So I just think it really is messy all ways around. Like also the mother kind of just like blowing up on him of like, okay, maybe on the surface level, I could see how it looked really bad, but reading into both sides and seeing both sides have a point.
Yeah, and I think he did a good job of empathizing. I mean, he even said he felt horrible knowing that she was crying after the whole situation. Being someone who has been on both sides, whether, it was me in a depressive bout or it was my partner in a depressive bout, it gets frustrating, right? On either side. If you're the one that is in the depressive bout, you feel like you can't do anything for yourself, you don't have the energy or the motivation to, you get frustrated by that too. And it's almost like a nasty cycle of, I don't like myself right now because of X, Y, and Z situation. Therefore, I'm not going to take care of myself and I'm not going to take care of my environment. But then also the other side of if your partner is the one that is going through this and you're the one that is taking care of everything, it does kind of feel like you're doing it alone.
Yeah. And I will say that everybody is different when it comes to depression looks different for everybody. There are some people who actually can still get up and do things because that is the only thing that, let's be frank and honest, is keeping them alive.
Yeah, functional
And
depression.
keeping them here, right? A functional depression where I gotta get up and work or I gotta get up and clean and get the kids to school, right? Like they don't have an option to not do that, right? And I'm not saying that this individual doesn't have an option, right? But it seems like they have a little bit more leeway because there really doesn't, there's no children involved. There's no pets. It doesn't seem like there really is no true motivation. Let's be honest. There's nobody that's relying on this woman to get up and feed them or take care of them. So it becomes even harder in that sense. Me and you, we have partners who maybe do rely on us after they come home, like, hey, I need to eat. Did you make any food? Or pets, right? That rely
Yeah.
on us to get up and take them out and feed them as well. So it's harder for us to just lay in bed all day, even when we want to. So we also have to keep that we have to put that in consideration as well. That's
Yeah.
something that I was thinking about during this. Like, it's easier when you don't have those responsibilities.
Yeah, it's pretty nuanced. Kind of like you said, everyone's situation it's going to be unique. It's going to look different. So this writer actually did provide an update. So we
Yeah.
can go ahead and read that. Okay. So he says, ultimately, I realized that the majority of the blame was mine. I never ever should have called her lazy because that isn't what she is. I lashed out and I shouldn't have. She stayed at her mother's for a few days and we eventually met up to talk. I told her how it just got too much for me, but it was no excuse for lashing out, and I apologized. She apologized also, not that she needed to, and we talked for a long while about how we can make our relationship work. I expressed my concerns over her therapist. Oh, yeah, I forgot she's
Oh,
in
yeah.
therapy. We didn't even talk. Okay. I expressed my concerns over her therapist, who is very against anything other than talk therapy.
Mm, no.
Okay, I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
She agreed that he didn't seem to really have her best interests at heart, and she is currently looking for someone new.
Good.
Great, I'm glad. For now, I suggested she stops looking for work. She got a lot of rejections, and I could see it was upsetting her more. I just felt we should take a step back from that, and I want her to focus on herself. Okay. She was unsure as she felt bad that I would be working for both of us, but I assured her it is fine. I make enough to support us quite comfortably. I also suggested maybe she could volunteer at some point just to get her out and get some more stuff on her resume. I'm no therapist, so these are just suggestions, but it has seemed to have taken some of the pressure off of her, which is all I wanted. Wow. Okay, love this guy.
First of all,
What a
we just gotta
caretaker.
can we do a little snap? That's king energy. I hate to be cringy for a
Yes.
second there, but wow, that is what we like to call a supported
Hmm.
partner. I don't think you could have done much better than that. I mean, took the pressure off of her, suggested
Yeah.
maybe we look at another therapist.
There's more though.
Oh, there's
So he
more.
could be more of a
Jesus.
king. Let's see.
Okay.
We agreed that being in the apartment all day alone and in bed is not good for her. So we came up with a plan that she does an exercise video 3 times a week. It's only a 10-minute one, so she is still doing something. She has found she likes doing them. They make her feel a little better after, and she has started something called yin yoga now too.
Oh,
Huge fan of
beautiful.
yin. Love
Yeah.
that. To help me, she has one chore a day to do. I don't care what it is. It could be the dishes or it could just be putting the laundry in the hamper. This rule has at least gotten her out of bed for part of the day, and she's found that once she starts, she ends up doing more than just one thing. I make sure to show my appreciation for whatever she has done, no matter how small it is. We have set out that every Sunday we will have a deep cleaning day where we get everything done for the week. This has been surprisingly successful. We make it fun and just mess around while still getting things done. It makes the week a lot more manageable when we only have light chores to keep on top of. She is trying more, and I am also working on being more supportive of her depression. I'm researching it more and learning ways I can help her because it is a part of her. We are both putting more effort in and communicating a lot better. I hope we keep making progress because I do love her very much and want us to work.
Please marry him.
I hope they're married.
I
Did they not
hope
give an
you two
update?
are married. I really do.
5 years ago. Okay, I hope they're married. This was beautiful. I love this ending.
Wow. If anybody wants to know what that support looks like,
This is
I
it.
think this is exactly how you support somebody with
Textbook.
any kind of mental health condition, any kind of mental health diagnosis. Just, I think really it's all just so justified. Like, okay, giving her one chore is
We're doing behavioral activation
yeah,
here.
behavioral activation right there. We're getting her up and moving. Movement is great for the body, especially when you're depressed. It releases endorphins. It makes you feel good. The communication it's just a lot better. They're communicating with each other about what they need, what each of them need.
They're
He's
sharing
researching,
responsibilities.
right? Sharing responsibility. He's researching on how to understand depression and how to be more supportive.
And I really like that he challenged her therapist.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people kind of will use that as, I don't want to say a crutch, but I do feel like some people will say, well, I'm in therapy, I'm working on it, but there
Right.
isn't real work being done, whether
Yeah.
that's on the therapist or that's on the client. And I love that he recognized that and, kind of pushed her in a way of like, okay, start questioning these things.
Yeah.
Why aren't we seeing progress?
Why is this therapist so against just talk therapy? I mean, so against doing anything
Yeah.
other than talk therapy? talk therapy isn't always going to be effective for every client. Most of the time it's not.
Yeah.
There was just so much in here. I think that was so beautifully done.
Yeah,
There's
I think it
a lot of
shows that
patience.
this guy really loves her
Oh, yeah.
and he really cares about her.
Just a lot of patience is what I'm seeing. That's what individuals who are struggling need: patience, support, and compassion. And I see it all in this relationship. And I truly do hope that these two are still together, that they have, if they wanted to, a beautiful marriage and a beautiful family, because that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Beautiful job.
Love it.
And I'm not just going to speak on men to the, anybody take note on that, because that is how we support.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was our last Am I the Asshole? We are hoping to kind of do this periodically, kind of do a little playlist of sorts. I'm a huge fan
Me
of
too.
this. And I think it does a good job of really like encapsulating day-to-day things that maybe we're not thinking about, but they do affect us so deeply.
Hmm.
And I think the reason why Am I the Asshole is so popular is that we see these things come out throughout the day. Yes, it's entertaining to read about people's conflicts, but we're getting these sort of conflicts in our own day-to-day life as well.
Yeah. And it definitely just highlights a lot of the things that many of us go through, like the boundaries, communication aspects, accountability, and just like sometimes lack of compassion that is in the world.
Hmm.
I agree. It's one of my favorite things to do in my passing time, just to read, because I still really have like the shock factor of like,
Yeah.
how did this happen? Or, oh, like another person is going through something so similar to me. Like, let me
Hmm.
just see what other people would say about it. So yeah, there's that level of like, oh, you understand me.
Like a connection in a
Yeah, a
sense.
community,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, and I think it also shows us that online drama can still teach us about real life
yeah,
skills. And I think this last Am I the Asshole story, I
yeah,
think it really shows like how we can use some of these things that we do talk about in therapy, whether that's communication, empathy, accountability, and how can we actually turn our situation around,
yeah.
right? That relationship could have ended right there,
Mm-hmm.
but there is accountability taking on both sides. There was compassion.
Empathy.
Yeah. And there was just a willingness to work for the relationship. And I think a lot of times, especially in our society, that work is gone.
Yeah.
People are not willing to work.
Yeah, that's why, I'm sure that'll be an episode later on, but why relationships fail is because both people don't put in the work.
Hmm.
That's the hard truth that nobody wants to admit. But that was a good one to end with, I think. It really encapsulated everything that all the things we were trying to talk about today. It was done beautifully
Yeah.
on all ends.
And as a bookish girl too, I
Mhm.
love a happily ever after. So I think that was a good
Happily ever
ending.
after.
A
Yeah,
really
we
good
hope you
happily ever
two have
after.
a happily ever after, however it ended.
So whether you're not the asshole, you are the asshole, or everyone sucks around here, just remember that your real win is going to be setting boundaries before you end up on Reddit.
So if you like today's episode, please follow us on anywhere you listen to your podcast. So I think it's Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. We're available on all those platforms. Please also go ahead and follow us on at Licensed to Yap Pod on Instagram. Feel free to also send over any of your stories. If you have anything that could relate to Am I the Asshole, or just any crazy stories that you've had, please feel free to reach out.
Or even your reactions too. We would love to hear what you guys think about
Yes,
these.
or any of your reactions. Just we would love for interactions. But please go ahead and follow us on all of those. And if you have any ideas for any follow-up episodes, please also send those our way.
Okay, well, until next time, be gentle with yourself and your people. We'll yap with you next week. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If something resonated with you, send this episode to a friend or leave us a review. It helps us more than you know.
Please follow us on Spotify or anywhere you get your podcasts, and follow Licensed to Yap on Instagram at Licensed to Yap Pod.